Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another movie review. What? Movie review. um, and this movie is going to be The Abduction of Jennifer Grayson. This movie it just came out March 28th. It was released. I believe was it last Tuesday? And I seen it online. It's available on a lot of the streaming things. I didn't pay anything for it, but let me tell you that. Yeah. Anyways, so I'm not gonna give you the website or wherever we went to. If you know how to do those things, you can do those things. Whatever. Blah. Hmm. But it is available on the streaming devices currently, or the streaming websites currently. Anyways, the abduction of Jennifer Grayson. I don't know if it's a true story. I don't think it was. It may have been based on a bunch of people, but yeah. But it is available. This movie didn't really have any major stars in it. It was kind of a B movie, probably, most likely. Um, but Tommy Dreamer is in it, which the name I caught, and I didn't know. I was actually already invested in watching the movie before I even seen who was in it. I hit play and I'm like, hold on, I gotta wait till this show is over so I can start watching the movie. And I hit pause. I noticed Tommy Dreamer was, and I was like, well, that's interesting. Didn't plan that, but the main person in this movie, her name was Rachel Jane Kahn, and she's kind of a, we want to say, um, she looks super, super young, and she's got like that teenager face. Like she doesn't look like she's an adult. She's got that teenager where she's still got a little bit of um, yeah, she's got that face. It just doesn't. She looks really, really young, and that's probably kind of why they probably cast her. But it's kind of a weird casting decision. Like I don't know. She's been in a couple different things, but she hasn't been a major role really. I think she was in another movie I saw on IMDb. I can't remember, but it was something. It was something like a horror movie too. Um, but this is about basically. It starts off about this girl with her girlfriend, and they're at a bar. I don't think the girlfriend is the one later on, but it starts out. Oh, and the guy in this movie, he wasn't in anything. Like I looked at him up, and it's like I think his name is James Duvall, but it's not the James Duvall you think it is. It's another James Duvall because I know that there is a Duvall. I think it's Robert Duvall. James Duvall is supposedly who's in this movie. I'll tell you that, but I don't know who he is. I don't think he's been in anything. You can tell me that I'm wrong, but Duvall, if you think Duvall was a famous person, it's not. There's nobody famous in this movie. Tommy Dreamer is the only thing halfway famous in this movie. He plays a detective. And I think they kind of show off that this is what happens. So they kind of have where the girls are at the bar. This guy sends them a drink to start the movie off. Um, and I'm not giving anything away because this happens like very, very shortly at the beginning of the movie. Um, Guy sends her a drink, and she's like, "Oh, that was so nice." And then she looks over, and they're laughing when they're looking at him, knowing who sent them the drink. And the girl that plays the main character, Rachel's her real name. I can't remember what her name is in the movie, but the victim, I'll say the victim. The victim writes a note, and as she's walking out, she whispers something in his. She wait no, that's not it. Yeah, it looks like I thought she whispered something in his ear, but then she hands him a note. So I don't know what was said, and he never ever says what she said in his ear. But he opens the note, and it said something like, wait, hold on. There's no chance in hell. I think it said there's no chance. Wait, no chance, dumb F. And I'm like, what? The F word, dumb F. What? I was like, okay. So this is all to a kind of weird start. So that happens, and then it kind of jumps. If I believe right, they go to the police station, And I think that's where does the credits go at this point? I'm thinking maybe the credits roll a little bit at the beginning. The movie starts with that scene and it kind of credits I think go. I'm thinking, um, or they show a little bit about that guy. One of the two. I think that's what they do. They go to that guy and they show a little about him going home and everything and going through some stuff and everything like that. But then they kind of jump to the police station a little bit later on, and the victim's in there. Things have happened to her, and she's talking to Tommy Dreamer, who is a lead detective in this police station he's playing. Um, if you don't know who Tommy Dreamer is, he's a wrestler from the WWE. He wrestled also in ECW, a very popular hardcore wrestling thing. Um, and he's an actor, I guess now. Who knows? Everybody's trying to be an actor. Anyway, especially in the wrestling world. But he's been in a couple things, I think, B movies before. But anyway, she's talking to a detective. He's trying to get what happened to her, blah, blah, blah. That's the movie. What happens is this guy abducts her. If you've seen my Curve review, which should go up before this, if not, it will be up shortly. Curve. There's somewhat of a theme going on here that I did not intend. Kind of weird. I'm not weird. I'm not that weird. Well, maybe. Never mind. Anyways, but the abduction of Jennifer Grayson basically is about this guy abducting this girl, trying to make her like him. That's basically the whole premise of the movie. That's it. But at the end, there's a twist. Very weird, kind of funny. You'll find out when you get to it if you watch it. I don't want to give anything away because this is I kind of harken back to Honeymoon, that movie, and I think I told everybody a lot that it's not a bad movie, but sometimes it had some weird moments. This is kind of like that, and it's kind of weirder moments than that. Like they drag a lot, like he's sitting there talking and like waiting for a response sometimes, and she's just like doesn't know what to say, do because it's a weird situation. I understand she's acting, whatever. They probably would do that if it was really happening in real life, but they'd more likely be trying to kick each other's ass um, because she would be trying to escape. Um, but I really didn't like it at the first, but at the end they like cram a bunch of stuff into the end of the movie, and I'm like, okay, that wasn't such a bad movie. So my thought of is if you watch this movie, don't give up on it. But it's also one of those movies, kind of like Curve that I reviewed earlier, that um, it kind of takes time to get to that point, but they just shove so much. Like the movie is such a average, below average movie, and then at the end you get all that story um, that they didn't tell you, and it just like happens all at once at the end of the movie. And to get to that point, though, it it just takes so long. And I understand you have to do that, but there was really nothing in between. There was no like little bumps in the road, which there should be in good horror movies. Little bumps in the road, like maybe she tries to escape, she gets out the door, but he drags her back in, nobody sees it, things like that. Or she's trying to scream and somebody hears, somebody comes to the door, he has to kill them, or something like that. There's nothing like that happens in this movie. It's kind of a very subtle movie. It's kind of touching at times because he's telling her about struggles in his life, and that's why he had to abduct her because he's feeling lonely and all this other stuff. And there's other things in there that I don't want to sprinkle in there. I want to let you see for yourself and give your opinion about this movie to me. I don't think it's that bad of a movie. I think it's a little bit above average because if you see the whole movie, it's kind of interesting. And the cool thing about this movie, and I'm going to tell you right ahead, is the killer does not die. So, I'm not spoiling anything because it's pretty obvious that he's probably not going to die in this movie when things happen. So, there is no strong character in this movie. The killer or the person who is with attaching to the victims, he's you're kind of weird about him at first, and you don't think he's going to be that strong of a character. But you find out things at the end of the movie. It kind of all crams in there, and you find out things. So it's not that bad of a movie. It's just the way it was presented, kind of weird. Um, but they could make a sequel. I don't know what they would call it because this is like that's my thing. Like this should have been a series, to be quite honest, but they didn't do it that way. Um, and I don't think they could really go back to it, like unless they have him abduct the same girl, like Jennifer Grayson again, and make a sequel to it, which that would be kind of interesting. I think that would be kind of interesting. Um, they should do something like that to where she knows everything about him now. Can't tell you anything else. So pretty decent movie. I think it's a little bit better than Curve, to be honest, because one, this Rachel Jane Kahn, she's a very very pretty girl, lovely woman. She looks very very pretty. Not that Julianne Hough was like horrible in the movie Curve, but Adventures of Jennifer Grayson was, without a doubt, it had something to begin with that made me go, okay, this is a pretty decent movie. She's pretty, hot chick. I'll stick around and see what happens to her. Because these abduction movies, that's what basically like they're known for things like if you've seen like I don't think I've reviewed Last House on the Left on here, but it's a great movie. But what it's known for is certain scenes in the movie, and that's what these movies probably should have in it. Um, and I would, well, yeah. Anyway, there wasn't no scenes anything like that in this movie. If you haven't seen Last House on the Left, I don't know what's taking you so long to watch that. If it becomes available or you see it out, the new one or the old one, they're basically pretty much the same. The older one's probably better because there's better acting um, and more disturbing. But that's the kind of movie these movies should be, to be quite honest. If they're trying to do something like that, whatever. This movie kind of took light, and you can tell it's a B movie at certain times in the movie because of what happens. It's really clear in the middle of the movie that it's a B movie because it seriously looks like somebody shooting a video camera in the middle of the movie. So it's directly a B movie. But done very well. I think it was done very well, except for those few scenes in the movie. The production is really good, to be honest. And they should have honestly not had those parts in the movie. If they were going to have them, they should have done a better job. They should have had camera set up, even like a set up, a cheap set up, because I think they could have done it. They could have had a house. They could have borrowed somebody's house to do the bar scenes in this movie and acted like it was actual bar, but they just catch him coming into the house and had like a bar at a kitchen table, and they could have set it up and took shots to where you didn't know it was a house. That's in my opinion. Or they could have just caught him sitting down and shot that, and then had he gets in a fight with somebody. I'm gonna tell you that he gets in a fight with somebody. They could have had him just poke on the shoulder and skip to where they're outside. They could have did this whole thing like way better than what they did. Um, and honestly, that scene was not even needed. Like he could have done something else and then went back. I don't know. It's just weird. Like this movie was like, I want to say it's a good movie, but then it's still average. So I think it's a little bit above average movie. Not very much above average, but slightly above average movie. That's what I'm going to say about this movie. Is it worth checking out? Yeah, I think it's worth checking out. I think it's an interesting movie. It's not something that you're going to be blown away by, but it's an interesting movie, especially at the end. You're like, what did this movie become? Like, what is going on? It really just baffles me. Like, by the end of this movie, I'm like, what am I watching? Like, the whole beginning of this movie was something else, and then near the end, it just got kind of weird, and it does get goofy and makes you laugh. So, like, I kind of wonder at the end of this movie, people were like, yeah, this movie's not very good. So they was like, nah, let's just have fun at the end. It kind of baffled me at the end of the movie. I'm like, what is this movie? It was so good. And then it got to the end, and they're just like, we give up. We're just going to have fun at the end of the movie. Anyways, it's worth checking out. I think I would recommend it for you to check out just to see how weird this movie was filmed and done and released to the public. I will say this, that at one point in the movie, there is a truck. They try to blur out the license plate, but I'm pretty sure that if you pause the movie at a certain point, you probably could still get the license plate off of that truck twice. They didn't do a very good job, and I hope they didn't borrow that car from somebody that's has a lot of money because it could be bad. Like, because I'm sure somebody else is gonna see that that's probably a bad person. They're probably gonna go pause. And I don't know, guys. You need to work on your editing. If anybody that made that movie, you need to work on your editing or just how to film that part of the movie. Good lord, good lord. I don't know. So, Abduction of Jennifer Grayson. Let me know what your thoughts if you've seen it. If you go and see it after you've seen this movie, come back here. Let me know what you thought about the movie. Give your thoughts down below. Like, comment. I will respond back to every comment. I have since I started doing better on YouTube here lately. I responded to almost every comment. If I don't respond, I'll at least give you a thumbs up on your comment. For the most part. If I really don't know what to say back to your comment, because sometimes you'll get like a long-winded thing. And I'm like, okay, I don't really know what to say to that. So I'll just give you a thumbs up. I've only gave a thumbs up, I think, once, though, because I wasn't sure what to say back to him. So I just gave him a thumbs up. But usually I'll say thanks for the comment, whatever like that. So thank you for the comments that you leave down below. Leave a comment down below for this one. Let me know what you thought. BradTragic.weebly.com, working on it. And also, don't forget, keep rocking and keep watching movies. Later, guys.